Hey, this is Warren Redlick with the latest and exciting boring news, Miami edition. Elon Musk tweeted with the Miami mayor about a possible new Boring Company project in Miami, Florida. The Boring Company is close to a massive expansion of projects, starting in Las Vegas, expanding to Austin, Texas, now Miami, and soon the world. Are you ready to hear more? Let's go! The latest big news started with this tweet right here from the mayor of Miami, Florida. He was talking to Elon after seeing something Elon said about how Elon could come to Miami and talk about solutions for the benefit of Miami's future. Elon responded. Elon said he thinks that Boring Company tunnels in Miami would make a huge difference, and I personally agree. I've driven in Miami. For those who don't know, I live about an hour north of Miami-Dade County. Elon said he'd spoken with Governor DeSantis about tunnels last week, and if the governor and the mayor want this done, we will do it. A lot of people, when they first hear about this idea of tunnels in Miami, they think, well, that's not really going to work. They think Florida is underwater, basically, and tunnels won't work. I spoke with the Florida geologist in the past, and you can check out my interview with him here. There's no problem tunneling in Florida. It'll work fine. There are tunnels already in Florida. There's a tunnel to the port of Miami. It absolutely will work. Personally, I see this as potential for a huge project, not just for Miami, but for most or all of Florida. So let's talk about how that could happen and what's been happening so far. Right now, Boring Company is doing a project in Las Vegas. They've completed a convention center project, mostly completed. It's about ready to go. They are in talks with the city of Las Vegas and with casinos to extend the Boring Company system to casinos, to the airport, which is at the bottom here, to other parts of Las Vegas. The convention center is the part that's done. That's at the top here. But they're even talking about going further. This is a visualization of one of the stations at the convention center in Miami. This is part of how the Boring Company system is going to work. You're going to have these stations that you're going to be able to come in, hop into a Model X, and probably somewhere down the road, some kind of better vehicle for this purpose, and be transported around in this system, and eventually drive your own Tesla into the system autonomously. You won't be driving, the car would be driving. Right now, they're in talks with the city of Las Vegas to extend the loop that they've got so far, not just to the airport, which is down here, and not just to the convention center, which is here, but to go further up in Las Vegas, further out, go all over Las Vegas and solve the soul-crushing traffic problems. I was listening to actually one of these conversations at a city council meeting where they're talking about how a commute that currently takes 30 minutes will be reduced to 5 minutes. A huge benefit to the citizens of Las Vegas, and this is a start. And my theory about doing Las Vegas is a tourist destination. People come from all over the world to go to Las Vegas, and they're going to see this project and say, hey, why don't we have this in my town? Miami is the same idea. Miami is a tourist destination. So if Miami has this kind of project, it's a showpiece for the rest of the world. The Boring Company is already working on a project in Austin, Texas. That's where Tesla's Gigafactory is being built. Austin has a huge college town. It has the South by Southwest Festival, which again is another opportunity for tourists from around the country, around the world, to see the Boring Company system in operation, say, we want it here. Where else would be good for that? Another spot in Florida, right? Are you ready? How about Orlando, Florida? Orlando, Florida is the home of Disney World and Universal Studios Orlando, two massive tourist destinations. But what if it wasn't just Orlando? What if it extended to Tampa, Florida, another large city, down to Sarasota, a medium-sized city not far from Tampa and St. Petersburg, and then out to Canaveral, where Elon has SpaceX launching rockets? This is a tremendous opportunity. Then you could see it going up and down the coasts of Florida. There's huge potential for the Boring Company to solve traffic problems. And Orlando and Tampa have massive traffic problems. So there's a lot of potential benefit to doing systems here that, number one, solve the soul-crushing traffic problems that we see in cities that have these problems, but also in tourist destinations so tourists see it. I see this going further. You need to know a little bit about what Elon talks about the Boring Company. Listen to this right here.
The thing about tunnels is that you can go 3D underground. You've got all these tall buildings that are in 3D and then a road network in 2D. And then everyone wants to go in and out of that 3D building at the same time. necessarily this will result in traffic. So what's the problem with tunnels? They usually take a very long time to build, and they're very expensive. This is Gary the Sixth. This is our goal. We must be faster than a snail.
While we're talking about Elon, I should just mention Elon Fan Club. Check the links below for t-shirts. So the big idea is, number one, if you tunnel under a city, you can, number one, you can do multiple levels, like he said, 3D, but also there's so much of a city that's land that's occupied, you can't put the roads through. When you do tunnels, you don't have to worry about this building that's in the way because you're under all the buildings. There's a lot more room to do tunneling under a city than there is roads on city level or even one level up for bridges. You can go multiple levels down. You can go 10, 20, infinite levels down. Maybe not infinite, but you can go many levels down. Two major problems. Tunneling needs to be faster and tunneling needs to be cheaper. They're making progress towards this. I recommend, if you're interested in this, to watch A Boring Revolution. It's a channel on YouTube with Will. Great stuff. I just watched one of his videos. Gary the Snail's speed works out to about 250 meters a day, or about 6 to 8 days for a mile. And we think that the Boring Company is getting its cost per mile down below $5 million a mile soon, if they're not already there. So going from $1 billion a mile to $5 million a mile is a 200-fold improvement. You can do 200 times the distance for the same amount of money. That's amazing. What I think is about to happen is I think we may be about to see an explosion of Boring Company activity. I'm actually thinking if there's an opportunity to invest in the Boring Company, it's probably coming, because if they're going to all of a sudden expand and do a lot of projects, they're going to need to raise capital for that. They're going to do a funding. I mean, maybe Elon can just fund it himself, but more likely that might be the moment where they do a funding round. We're talking about a company that's building one project that may move to building 3 or 4 projects that may move to building 100 projects in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's a huge potential expansion in this company's business. So we're looking at Las Vegas, we're looking at Miami, maybe we're looking at Orlando, and then we can get to some really, really big projects. So here's a really big idea. What if Boring Company did a tunnel from west coast of the United States up over the top of the Earth through the Bering Strait, basically, between Alaska and Russia, and then down into China and reaching Japan, reaching Southeast Asia. Maybe from China, it goes across this globe shows population density. So there's a huge population density in Southeast Asia. It doesn't make sense to go under the ocean. And if you look at this, you see this is actually a straighter line. If you've ever flown from North America to Asia, and I have, you go through Alaska anyway. It goes up over. It's just the curvature of the Earth, and we don't see that on a Mercator projection. So you'd need to get Russia on board with this. You need to get China on board with us. China's probably already on board. It's probably not that hard to get Russia on board with this. You could see another line going along the northern edge of Russia that could reach Europe and create a boring Hyperloop system that would get you from the United States to Asia and from the United States to Europe without having to go under an ocean or fly over an ocean.
And then one day it will connect to the Hyperloop. But that's for another time.
By my math, a Hyperloop system like this could get you from Los Angeles to Beijing or Shanghai for about $80 in about 6 hours. It's not as fast as Starship point to point, but it costs a lot less money. So there's tremendous potential for this for the future. And this idea that you get the cost down to $5 million a mile, well, this looks like a really big project, but if it's 5,000 miles, then it's $25 billion. And that's not really that much of an expensive project. And you would be able to raise funds for that. And then if you have a high volume of travel going back and forth from the United States to Asia, this line could extend down to Mexico. Of course, it could cover the whole United States. It could cover the densely populated parts of Asia, reach across to Europe. There's a huge potential volume here. This would make the world a smaller place. This would make the world a better place. This would increase the efficiency of the simulation, as Elon likes to put it. It would make our economies work better. It would bring countries together, as long as we can keep the politicians out of it. Tremendous opportunities here to make the world a better place. So that's the big idea. It starts small. It starts with a project in Las Vegas, a medium-sized, somewhat large city. Then you hit Austin, Texas, another medium-sized city. Then you hit Miami, a larger city. And you can see this grow and grow and grow. And you can see Las Vegas on one of the maps. It shows an extension potential to Los Angeles. So many different ways this could grow and expand. And you could see it covering the whole state of Florida. You could see it, Texas, going from Austin, covering the triangle of Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston, reaching down to Boca Chica, Texas, where SpaceX is going to operate the spaceport. There's so much here. So exciting. I know it's boring, but it's exciting. Of course, if you like this video, please check out my other videos. Please check out the t-shirts. Links below for the t-shirts. Please support this channel on Patreon. That really helps. And thank you for watching.